It is a beautiful time of year. Once again, a beautiful day here in the Tennessee Valley. But as nice as this fall weather is, soon it's going to begin to get a little bit cool, and that means bugs might be starting to find their way into your house to stay warm and dry. So a good time for us to check in with Erik Gardner at Volunteer Rid of Pest. Good to see you this morning, Erik.
Good to see you.
I've talked to you long enough now over the years. I think I'm right, am I, that when the weather turns cool, just like we seek warmth, so do the pests?
That's the way it works. You know, they sense winter's coming before we do, and they begin looking for a place to overwinter.
It seems like no time at all since you and I were having a conversation talking about the summertime heat and the mosquitoes in your yard and the treatments that you can do to help folks with that. So where do we turn our focus now? Is this going to become more of a concern like with roaches and things like that this time of year?
Yeah, really, we see an uptick in just about all the different insects entering homes. There's a common misconception that cold weather kills insects, but it really doesn't. The insects in nature, they're going to try to burrow into the ground and get into a hollow tree and just find a place to protect themselves over the winter, and then their bodies go dormant. Their metabolism slows and they just go dormant for the winter. When it turns warm again in the spring, gets up above 75 degrees for a few days, they come back to life and the process starts all over again. Well, what they've done since we started building our homes, they get into our homes to overwinter. So they get in our crawl spaces, our attics, and in our wall voids. So if we don't do something to prevent that, then we're going to have the potential of insect problems all winter long.
Because our weather is so mild, is that one of the things that works against us in a way?
Yeah, a lot of times, they will overwinter for a little cold snap and then they come back to life because we get, cold snaps and warm days. And so it's just, we get calls all year round.
I love working in my yard. I was doing a little bit of that over the weekend and have many plans in the days and weeks to come. Fall is a great time to be clearing out and doing some things. But as you're working in the yard, maybe removing and moving around some existing shrubbery, can that stir up some problems, Erik?
A lot of times the insects are nesting in the ground or in the mulch, and as you're out working in the yard, you disturb them. Sometimes they will go further from the house, but sometimes they'll go into the house. So it's just, you never know, but when you stir up their habitat, it will make them move.
What about trees? If you have trees near your house and those limbs begin to work their way towards, bedroom windows and stuff, can that be a problem?
It can be. Insects can use that as a travel route to get into the house. Also wildlife, squirrels and raccoons and things like that. So it's better to keep your limbs trimmed back from over the house and keep your shrubbery at least 12 to 18 inches away from the house.
What about concerns that we do need the bugs? We don't want to have a world without insects. We just don't want them in the home. So when y'all are treating, I know you probably hit the periphery around the house, but that does not mean that they can't still find somewhere to live in the yard, just not close to the home. Is that right?
That's true. Our quarterly pest control treatment is designed to keep the pest out of the house. So we don't treat the entire lawn. We just treat around the perimeter of the house, and then the house itself, sweep down spider webs, and do targeted treatments inside just to make sure you don't have a problem. Now, if some people want to have their whole lawn treated for ants and different things, centipedes, different things that come in from time to time, and we do that, but that's not our typical service.
We did have an awful lot of rain the last several weeks. Did you see a problem with phone calls coming in from people who've gotten water in their homes?
Yeah, a lot of people will call because when the ground gets saturated, all the insects living there come out. And so we typically do get an influx of phone calls, people seeing beetles in their basement or centipedes or millipedes, different things that typically nest in the ground.
Do you go hand in hand sometimes with plumbers? Because if you've got a drippy faucet, will that water attract the bugs?
Yeah, well, one of the things we do different from most companies, we perform an annual inspection of our customers' homes. And we're looking for things like that, leaky toilets, leaky bathtubs, things that they wouldn't know, it's dripping under the crawl space, they wouldn't know it's doing it. And it can rot the wood, it can cause a lot of problems. So we refer a lot of work to plumbers because, they have to get it fixed. And then if fungus is starting to grow, then we have to treat for the fungus to stop it. So it's very important to have your home inspected at least once a year.
So how about in terms of having people schedule an appointment with you? Do you recommend quarterly treatments, Or can they even try you one time and then call you again to get on a schedule with you?
You can. I mean, we can do a one-time treatment if that's what they want, but I ask people all the time, how long do you want to get rid of the bugs? And the answer is forever. I say, well, one treatment is not going to give you that. So we recommend the quarterly service. The material we use lasts for 90 days. As the initial treatment wears off, we come back and do it again, and we just maintain that barrier to keep the bugs out, and that will give them what they want. They'll never see another bug.
And I know that I mentioned a second ago the mosquito treatments that you do, just for the sake of setting the record straight in case someone has not heard from you before. I think that's something that you do just seasonally, right? You can't do that now as a preventive for next summer.
Yeah, we do it April through October. A lot of people still in October, the weather's still nice, starting to get a little cooler, but the mosquitoes are still out. Mosquitoes will stay active until the first hard freeze, and then they go dormant, and you won't see them again until it gets up above 75 degrees for several days. So usually mid-November, they're pretty well done for the year, and then we'll come back in March or April.
And since you mentioned ants, are you still seeing a problem for folks with ants? They were a real nuisance this past summer.
They have been, yeah, and ants are something we get calls from all year round because they're going to nest in the wall voids of your home or get in the crawl space and stay warm, and then they find food sources in your home at the kitchen sink or in the garbage can or the dishwasher, and we get calls about that even in the dead of winter.
All right, Erik. Thank goodness everyone's called to do a job. I would not have been called to be an exterminator, but I'm awfully glad that you were.
Well, thank you.
If you want to get in touch with Erik and his team, it's Volunteer Rid of Pest. They're on Lee Highway. Phone number is 698-7205. Online, it's volpest.com. You heard him say he's happy to treat your house just the one time if that's what you're looking for, but he would recommend a regular schedule, and that way you can keep those bugs from ever showing their heads in your kitchen when you're going in for a drink of water. Good to see you, Erik.
Great to see you. Thank you.